Happy National Bird Day.
Today is National Bird Day, is it not?
Our feathered friends.
It's our fine feathered friends.
Some are fine.
Some are fine, some are not.
Some just crap all over everything.
Well, there's a lot of things that crap all over everything. It's not just
Not just birds.
Yeah, that's not specific to birds. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Logger Room. It is Tuesday, January 12, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you. And with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Hey, guys. Happy Kiss of Ginger Day.
Happy Kiss of Ginger Day. What's that mean? What's that mean, Mr. Samurai?
Well, ginger is typically, the redhead.
I know what it means. I was just wanting you to say it. That's all.
But, it's a hard thing to do with COVID. I'm not that intimate with any gingers at the moment. So,
Right.
So all I've got left is, so we're just going to.
There you go. Oh, you kissed a ginger. Look at that.
I kissed a ginger. You like it? I know. Don't write letters, please.
It's National Kiss of Ginger Day.
And speaking of National Kiss of Ginger Day, I don't think there's a national in there. I think Kiss of Ginger Day is worldwide.
It's just worldwide, international.
I think it's a worldwide. I don't think it's got a. I don't think it's got a moniker in front of it.
Shouldn't that be March 17th though? I mean, there are plenty of Irish people that aren't gingers, but I mean,
no. I think March 17th is kiss someone with puke mouth, right?
No, that's later in the day. Early in the morning, you don't have
later in the day. So, but also Kiss of Ginger. We got to bring our guest on so I can continue talking about Kiss of Ginger Day.
Let's bring our guest on.
Who's our guest today, John?
Our guest today, coming to us all the way from the middle of America, is none other than the beer whisperer himself, Mr. Tom Mulvihill. Say hello, Tom.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for having me. How do you do, buckaroos, I should say.
There we go. I was waiting for it.
How do you do, buckaroos? I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. Beer fans, prolific beer drinker, purveyor, wisdom, man, all around good guy.
All around good guy, absolutely.
All around great guy. Now you were listening. It's Kiss of Ginger Day, so you know who comes to mind when we think of gingers.
Yeah, Stuart.
Mr. Picard.
Ginge Real Ale Trail.
The Ginge, the Ginge Real Ale Trail. Yes, that's
Ginge Real Ale Trail, right?
Yeah.
Well, did you know he visited me several years ago?
Yeah, for Thanksgiving, I just had a blast watching him discover America. So,
oh my Lord,
Stuart's from Northern England, right? He's up from the Yorkshire area.
Yorkshire, yes.
Yes, and he came and he stayed with Tom, and Tom cooked him an amazing Thanksgiving dinner.
Very nice.
Correct?
Yeah, he wanted to experience an American Thanksgiving, and it happened to fall on his birthday that year.
Well, he also wouldn't let Tom drive him around all the time. He said, no, you do what you need to do. He walked all over the place, and it was just fun watching him. Well, remember when he discovered Little Debbie's?
Yes.
That was funny. But then the glory upon glories is when he walked into a Krispy Kreme and the light was on and they're pulling him right off the conveyor for him. Oh man. So Stuart, if you're watching, we love you, man. But we know it's past his bedtime right now. So he's not watching this live, but hopefully he'll,
no, it's only 10:45. So, I mean.
And then, yeah, but he gets up real early, so.
Oh, he's one of them. Gotcha.
Yeah, so at any rate, let's drink.
Why don't we pour our first beers before we keep BSing there? So. All right, what are you, Mr. Beer Samurai? What are you drinking first?
All right, so I have got to drink one of Mark Pappy's beers here. So I was at we announced it. Oh God,
4 weeks ago.
Yeah, that 6-pack brewing had opened, and it was when Augie was on. We were talking because Augie made the crack. It was amazing if he'd only sold in 4 packs of 16.
Yes, so it was Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, so there's a 16-ounce can right there. It was Thanksgiving Eve, and we have Elliot. Now, 6-pack is not, it is kind of a reference to the 6-pack of beer, but they don't sell 6-packs that I know of. They might. It's actually to the 6 dogs.
So it's a 6-pack of dogs is the reference, not the how many beers come in a.
And this beer and their 6 main beers are all named after the dogs. My favorite being Elliot, the beer, not the dog. The Elliot is a great dog. I'm not.
You'll like Ollie better than Elliot. Let's be realistic, all right?
Well, I think I've only met Elliot.
The dog, not the beer.
No, I've only met Elliot, I believe. So we're gonna crack this open. This is a 5% wild ale, and he just came out with a cranberry hibiscus version of this thing. That once he cans that, the Subaru will be turning south down to Bristol.
There you go.
To get a ton of cans of that. So this is a wild ale. The thing about Mark is an absolute technician, and he this is such a clean wild.
You know, you could take more than 2 sips of one glass. Just wanted to put that out. So.
Well, I didn't put the whole 16 ounces in there.
Oh, okay. So you had to make room for the rest of it. I got you. I understand.
Oh God, this is such a good beer. It's going to be gone in no
poor
time.
glass planning.
That was 16-ounce beer, 16-ounce glass.
But it's logoed.
It's logoed, so we'll give him a pass on this one, Tom.
I'll let it go.
Beautiful beer. So what are you drinking, Tom?
Tom, what are you drinking?
So I've got one that the Samurai sent me from Smug Brewing, Nemesis Session India Pale Ale, 4.9%, 20 IBUs. Let me show you the can.
John drank that last week.
I drank that last week.
Can I pour now?
Absolutely. Yeah. Pour away.
Okay.
Pour away.
All right, just checking. I don't want to break protocol early on.
No, you pour away.
Oh, protocol has been broken so many times by so many guests.
I don't even think there is a protocol at this point anymore.
Tom, as long as you don't get up and with your earbuds on and go pee in the woods, you're good. Because we've had it happen.
Well, that's happened, and it will again.
I've got a jug here. I've got a jug right here just in case.
There you go. You're set. You're covered.
He's going to trucker bomb us.
There you go.
Howdy, buckaroos, man.
Howdy, buckaroos. Howdy do, buckaroos.
Man, do you have a merchandising site there?
There you go.
I don't, but this was actually a Christmas gift.
Ah, nice.
Very nice. Very nice. So we gotta work on our merchandising site too.
Oh, wow.
So. Well, I have a Beer Samurai glass.
Yes, I know you do.
I just haven't drank out of it yet on the show.
But,
I will.
The caps and the T-shirts are getting made up. They're not done yet, but as soon as they do, we'll all be wearing them, and we'll see if we can sell them. How's that beer? Nice.
It's aromatically spectacular. I haven't taken a drink yet, but you get a lot of fresh citrus zest on the nose, some floral notes as well. It's stunning on the nose.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. It tastes like it belongs on a brunch buffet, but it's good.
Yeah, if you remember a long while back, I had sent you a Carton Boat beer.
Yes, yeah, that's Session IPA.
Right. So that's why I wanted to send you that Nemesis.
Actually, Carton bills that as a session ale for double IPA drinkers.
Yes.
Ah, gotcha.
So when I came up to Rhode Island, I couldn't, my boat supply started to dwindle and eventually dried out. So I had to find myself, a hoppy session to drink, and they're 4 blocks away from me, Tom. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you don't have it any better than that, right there. So.
Nah, unless they were in the building.
All right.
There's a lot of grapefruit going on here. That's the primary note for me is grapefruit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
All right. I think I am going to open up my first beer. It's also from Mr. Samurai. Thank you very much. Devil's Purse Stone Horse Citra. And I'll throw that up there right there. I'll open this up.
I should have brought a 4th beer. This one's going to go down easier than a Tijuana hooker. I'm telling you that right
now. Speaking of.
Tijuana hookers?
No,
I was young. It was the 80s. I was in California.
All right, there we go. Nice in. Hold on, let me turn it around because it's branded. My Trillium glass right there.
Oh, beautiful. There you go.
So we're going to Devil's Purse and Trillium. Okay,
Devil's Purse and Trillium. Why not?
Same state.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
Wow. Damn.
That's really tasty. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah,
citrus, floral. I'm getting there's a little grapefruit in this.
Oh, nice.
It is a very similar beer too. It's a little bit more hoppy than Nemesis.
It's also, if I remember, it's a little creamier.
Aromatic.
It's a little creamier.
A little creamier, but it's basically, if I had to say it, if you want to just call it that, it's Nemesis on acid. How's that? There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I would call this an after work beer. I mean, this would be your first beer after work.
absolutely.
You're sweaty. Oh, you pop that can. Oh, that's what this is.
That beer, anytime that Smug puts out a new beer, I go get that beer and a 4-pack of Nemesis.
There you go.
Almost every time, except for the last time.
I do that with a couple of breweries too. Hang on, I got to take a picture on tap here. There you go. So
there you go. Yeah, because we keep forgetting to. I keep forgetting to check in my beers on Untapped on this show. I do it like 2 days later.
Yeah, exactly.
I always do it after the fact.
I did it like 3 days later last week.
So Tom, you're in Missouri.
Yes, let's talk about.
Am I saying that right? Is it Missouri?
Yeah, well, actually, Missouri really. It's only folks up north that really pronounce that A. I am in Southwest Missouri.
Okay, so it is Missouri there, and so you're probably not too far from the geographic center of the country.
Yeah, hell, I don't know, probably.
That's why I said he was in the middle of America.
I'm rather middle, yeah.
Just about. Well, he's a lot closer to the middle of America than you and I are. So.
And I get a lot around the middle.
The area that I'm in, I said Southwest Missouri, but it also encompasses what we call the Ozarks, which is parts of Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas.
Right.
Okay.
Very nice.
Now, don't you? Oh man, isn't there a cryptid in the Ozarks?
Is there
what?
A cryptid, like a Bigfoot, Sasquatch kind of beast in the Ozarks.
Oh, I have no idea. I haven't seen it, and I've been rather drunk at times. So
he's seen aliens. He's seen Elvis.
I've seen Jimmy Hoffa, but I wasn't supposed to tell you that.
Have you seen the Ozark Mountain Daredevils lately? Or
not lately, but I have. In fact, one of the members, Rule Chapel, I've known for years. I wouldn't say we're close friends, but we know each other, and of course we're friends on various social media. But yeah, he's a great guy.
My favorite Ozark Mountain Daredevil song. What's your favorite Ozark Mountain Daredevil song? No.
If you want to get to heaven.
If you want to get to heaven, there you go. A lot of people say Jackie Blue. You know.
Jackie Blue's the commercial hit.
Right, it's the commercial hit. Mine, Chicken Train.
Chicken Train. Yep. That's a local favorite.
Absolutely.
We're digging deep.
Digging deep. We're looking for it. So. What's the craft beer, the local, the hyper local, if you will, craft beer scene like in Missouri or around you at the moment?
Honestly, we've really grown over the last 2 years. Back in the late '90s, Springfield Brewing Company was the first, but originally they were owned by the Paul Mueller Company, who made the tanks. So that first probably decade of their existence, they were really more of a showplace for Mueller products in a casual dining restaurant that served beer. But over the last couple of years, they've really turned it up.
Gotcha.
But over the last 2 years, we've had, or 3 years, I guess I should say, we've had about 8, 9 other breweries opened up. So we've got 10 total now. And I got a glass from one of them here that I will drink a beer with later. But I've got Show Me Brewing. What's interesting about this place is Show Me is brewing beer. They don't can or bottle anything, but they're brewing 10 gallons at a time, and it's for the most part it's one-off stuff. They do bring some recipes back, but you never know what you're going to get. They're running 12 beers on tap, 10 gallons at a time, if you can believe it.
Really?
That is wow. That's
crazy.
What's that place in the middle of Pennsylvania? It sounds like them. It's it'll come to me.
All right.
Sealands Grove.
Oh, Sealands Grove. Yeah.
Sounds like that.
Yeah. There's a brewery down in Waretown, New Jersey. They're not brewing 10 gallons. They're brewing 31. They're brewing 31 gallons at a clip. It's a 1-barrel brew house they have.
Wow, that's nice.
And it's becoming more full time than part time. But the guy actually has another job. But he just loves brewing. He brews small batches of everything. He just brews 1 barrel of everything. Sells it all right inside the brewery, and I mean, it's super creative. It's easy to be super creative with 1 barrel at a clip.
Yes.
And as soon as he releases, it's gone, and then trading goes on. People are looking for it. What? And name the brewery, John?
That would be Oyster Creek.
Oyster Creek.
Oyster Creek.
Okay.
And then there's another brewery that's similar, Troon.
Troon, yeah, Troon.
Right.
That's over in Pennington. Well, Pennington Road. I think it's. I mean, is it Pennington?
I think they're Pennington.
Yeah, it's Pennington. Yeah. They're the same thing. I mean, his brew house is a little bit bigger than One Barrel, but same thing. They do a release. There's no drinking in. He doesn't have a proper tap room. It's just when he does releases, people show up and they buy crowlers. He doesn't even can nothing. It's all crowlers, and that's just it. When he releases it, the day he releases it, it's gone at a certain point, and then it's all trading.
So.
And then if you do want drafts of it, there's a restaurant in front of the property that you can go to and sit there. And almost all of his releases get tapped there. One sixtel pretty much had a clip that said, when that one's gone, it's gone. But what's also cool about that is on the same property is also a distillery, and they're making some pretty good spirits as well there. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So my first beer went down so damn quickly, and since you guys are both drinking hops,
I'm damn near done. I was waiting on you guys.
Oh no, I'm all right. I'm halfway through my second, Tom. I went with Smug's Holland Oats. John, you need to look at.
Well, that's clever.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
look at
great.
this. Right, this is and man, just look at this beer, and tell me how many oats have been tossed in it.
Yeah, really.
Right. This is New England. This is New England in a glass right here.
That he has to. He's got to. You got to tell Rob. He's got to. Rob, right? It's Rob at Smug, right? You got to tell Rob he's got to start distributing to New York, and he's got to distribute to Pauling, New York, and they have to get that beer at Daryl's house.
There we go. There we go. I haven't seen him in a while. Every time I go there,
Daryl Hall or Rob?
Yeah, no, Rob. Because
I just want to verify everything. Just make sure
Yeah, Allie's taking care of everything now. I haven't seen Andrew in a while. Last time I ran to him was the liquor store. But so Tom, back to you.
I just popped the Kegnog milkshake IPA that you'd sent me, 6.5%. It pours nice, as you can see.
Very nice. Yeah.
Using my craft beer cellar glass here.
There we go.
Very, very nice.
That's a neat little chain, craft beer cellar.
Yeah, I'd never heard of them before until we went up to Sedalia, Missouri. But it's part bottle shop, part tap room. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're I know of them from Florida. I think it's the same people.
It's a chain, and they're independently owned.
Yeah, they're franchised out. Yes,
yeah, they're franchised out. So then there was one in Warwick, New York. It closed and I think it reopened.
Oh wow!
And there's one up in right near Fenway Park. I believe they left the franchise though and named the store something else though. I believe as of last year because I usually go in it anytime I'm in Boston. Last time I was in Boston was just before the pandemic. And it was a different name, but the store was set up identical, and it was the same people that owned it. So I got a feeling they left the franchise and just used it renamed it. Don't quote me on that. Don't know the exact history of that whole transaction, but that's what I think is going on with that one.
But I wanted to ask Tom.
Go for it.
Because we know Rhode Island and New Jersey have been kind of similar as what we've gone through for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen places come and go. We've actually had breweries open during this. New Jersey has, Rhode Island has, but we've seen breweries. We've lost breweries. We've lost restaurants. Personal friend of John's and I lost his restaurant during COVID because he got no federal help because it all went to like Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. And here, yeah, right. So that was upsetting because that was a great place. He got the best. Oh my God, the stuff he would get on tap there was amazing. What have you seen in Missouri? What has been the impact there?
Well, it's funny you ask that because I've actually been working on an article for my website that I'm going to publish this weekend called Beer Today, Gone Tomorrow about, how it's been a struggle for the craft breweries to stay alive and what changes and concessions they've had to make in order to do that. Early on, of course, they were shut down for a period of time, and most of them are back open again. Some of them are allowed to have some service inside. Shelby, that I mentioned earlier, are open, but they're only doing growlers. In the past, you could go in and buy have a beer by the glass, but right now they're only growler. Curbside. Everybody popped up with some kind of curbside something. Springfield Brewing was one. They offered something called the Brewer's Case, where they picked, the four. It was either 4 6-packs or 2 6-packs and 2 4-packs for a bargain price. I think it was about $30. So you got a nice price, but they chose what beer you got.
Right.
Okay. Did you have any breweries that you can actually sit at and drink a beer now?
Now I do, yeah. So I hate to keep bringing up the same one, but I have a mug at Springfield Brewing Company.
Yeah, of course you do.
I do, but so I had been going there for a couple reasons. So one, I have the mug and it's cheaper for me to drink.
Sure.
But two is because they got this beautiful rooftop patio where I can walk up there and just social distance my ass.
There you go.
Because before I typically like to go.
Wait. Just your ass, or
just my ass.
Just your ass.
Just my ass. The rest of me follows later.
Right.
But I like to go to places by myself, and it is funny. Before people go, well, this guy's drinking alone, and I like to go to places by myself because I always run into somebody I know. And if I go with friends, then I'm obligated to be with them. But if I go by myself, I'm not obligated to do shit. but now we have to social distance. So yeah, I can walk into Springfield Brewing Company. Most of them know me there. I mean, I'm Springfield Brewing Company's norm at this point. And I walk up there and they said, "You going upstairs?" I say, "Yep." I go down to patio and I tell them what beer. They get my mug and get me a beer.
Yeah, and you know what? You made a great point there, because even when you drink alone, breweries, bars, it's rare that you're actually drinking alone, because you always have a best friend for the day.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Right. Cloverleaf Tavern, one of my favorite places. I have met so many people there that I'm still friends with. Even coming up here, probably one of the only friends I have up here I met at Smug when we could go into Smug. Smug has not opened for drinking inside yet. So we started talking, and she's like probably my only friend that I have up here in Rhode Island at the moment. So you can still go places and even social distance. There's some miscommunication because you're wearing the mask, so it sounds like this all the time.
Yeah.
But that can be humorous, right? So it can be a lot of fun. So that's neat. So it's great that that you've got places that you can still go, sit down, get something off the tap, and even in Jersey, John, there are places that are still pouring, correct?
Oh yeah, no. There are places that are pouring. They're not. There's actually more pouring than not.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think Rhode Island.
Even some of the ones that at the beginning were just doing the home delivery and takeout and so forth and so on. They all set up outside areas, and then when they went with restaurants and bars to 25%, which they haven't taken away yet, knock on wood. They opened up inside.
Wait for it.
A small amount. Not everybody did that though. A lot of places kept the outside going with heaters and so forth.
Can I expound on that for just a second?
Sure.
Exactly what you're talking about. When most of these places were down for a couple months, and a few of them really took advantage of that downtime. Springfield Brewing Company, tried to dress up their patio as much as possible. I've got another one in town, Tie and Timber. They landscaped the hell out of the place. I put several tables outside. You can get twice as many people outside as you can inside.
Right.
There was just a handful that really took advantage of the downtime and did something smart.
Yeah, Trillium did the same exact thing in Canton.
Yeah.
The landscaping in Canton, they've got all these planter boxes with the veggies in them, and they've placed it in such a way that they've made these paths with tables here and there that are more than 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
They're actually way more than 6 feet apart. They would get the food trucks in, and it was just a beautiful experience. They made some really, really good alcoholic lemonade out of this thing, right? And they did a great job.
Yeah, there's been a few that we just went not this past weekend, but the weekend before. We went on Saturday. We took a ride down to Haddonfield.
Thanks for the invite. It's an inside joke, Tom.
You actually were invited, by the way. You know you were, but I knew you weren't coming, but you were invited.
4-hour drive, yeah.
4-hour drive, yeah.
No.
But,
we all roasted John about not inviting us. He invited us, and then no one went anyway.
And then no one went.
Oh no! You bastards!
But the funny thing is, I knew damn well nobody was going to go, but I did it just so I wouldn't have to get the TFTI.
But you got it anyway. You got it anyway.
Yeah.
Because
and just as a side note, really quick, we got a couple people are commenting in. Brian Alt, our pseudo producer, he says, "Cheers, gents."
Hey, cheers!
There's nothing pseudo
Cheers,
about Brian.
Not
a thing pseudo about
Not
Brian.
at all. And speaking of Brian's, we also have another Brian watching. Mr. Brian Boak is now watching too.
Oh man!
Cheers, Brian.
So
here's to the Bryans.
So Tom, Brian Boak is a brewing legend in in the state. And I have a feeling he may be brought up a little later on in the show.
It's quite possible.
It's quite
he
possible.
Might be brought up. I don't know how, but
so Mr. Boak, stick around.
Stick around. So, but in any event, there's been a few, and we hit 4 or 5 breweries that day, and every single one of them had a socially distanced inside pouring, and they also had outdoors set up, and it was chilly that day, but they had heaters. And you dress appropriate. You're gonna have once you get to your third beer, you're kind of okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So and it was surprising too. We had a couple of interesting beers that day. I do have to say, and might have brought back a couple that might show up next week or the week after.
Maybe possible.
I'm not quite sure it's possible, but we'll see. But in any event, yeah. So that's New Jersey right now, but. We were curious about your area in Mo. So,
you can't have bar service yet. You can't sit at a bar yet, but most places do have some sort of where you can go in and sit or go outside and sit, right, weather permitting.
There's no bar service in New Jersey. There was, and then they took it away. They actually do allow restaurants. Breweries aren't doing this, but they do allow restaurants and bars to set up high top tables. Right.
I thought you said tube tops. I'm like, what?
They set up. Everybody's got to wear a tube top.
It was the 80s. I'm telling you guys. I didn't know there'd be pictures.
Cover the boobies up, and
I was young, shit-faced, and silly.
None of us had boobies in the 80s. We do now.
I do now. Yeah. I got pretty good ones now.
All right. But in any event. They set up the two tops, high top tables, right at the bar level against the bar. But as long as the seats are facing each other and not the bartender, you're good. Because then you're not, you're just leaning towards, and whatever. Yeah. So they don't want they don't want interaction across the bar with the staff.
Yeah. Well, Rhode Island does have, some places do have bar service where you can actually sit at the bar. They have. Well, take one of my favorite places to drink in Providence is called the Wild Colonial. Mm-hmm. It's in a colonial era, not error. I'm sounding like a Rhode Islander now. Error.
It's the beer. It's not your location.
If there's an R in the word, you take it away. If there's no R, you add it.
Add it, right?
But the colonial era warehouse. It's all this old brick and rough-hewn wood, but the bar now is completely encased in plexiglass. They call it the fish tank. So you can sit there, and there's some places that have gone even further than that, where not only do they have the plexiglass to separate you from the bartender, but they've got the plexiglass on either side of you to separate you from the next customer. Right. There's a place in Newport that I was in. I can't remember the name of it, but they were set up that way. So there's still bar service in Rhode Island at the moment. No. Actually, Poor Judgment was only doing outdoors and takeout.
Well, that block is a really nice block.
It's a really cool block. But if you remember Poor Judgment, even pre-COVID, walking through there to squeeze your way between the tables and the bar stools.
It was narrow to get through between the tables and the bar stools. But once you got to the back, it opened up a little bit. So.
Yeah, no, I love that place. Absolutely love that place. One of the best tap lists. One of the bartenders there, she's from Jersey. Okay. So if you say you're from Jersey, she tends to pay more attention to the.
There you go.
Jersey.
Yeah, just because you wanted to have a conversation with somebody that knew things that she knew, you know. So.
But this was years and years and years ago, so I'm not sure she's even still there. Hopefully, she's not and moved on to something better. Not no offense to poor judgment.
You know what? Maybe that was great for her.
Who knows? Who knows? Now, I want to get back to Tom here.
Let's get back to Tom.
You're not just the beer whisperer.
Yeah.
You have a alternate personality.
I do. I have seveble, but yes.
But we're going to go with we're going to leave the ones that tell you to set things on fire. We're not going to bring those up, but we're going to bring up the whiskey whisperer.
The whiskey whisperer.
Right.
So I brought a local whiskey to share with you. It's from Bubs, and what Bubs is known for is moonshines. And basically, what this is, it's a small batch, 90 proof. Distilled corn sugar aged in oak.
What are you showing us, John?
I'm just holding my glass up so he says he's going to share it with us.
I will share it with you.
Tom, before you get there, am I under the wrong impression that there's been times where you have paired your are you hearing that?
Yes, I hear that.
Yes.
I wonder where that's coming from. Is it me?
Hopefully, I don't know. It's a mic. It's not a headphone thing. So
okay. So
hold on. I'll find out where it is. Hold on.
But before,
yes, and I want to with this
it's
beer.
Tom.
So it was Tom. But yeah. So Tom, the one thing I want to ask
it's
is
gone.
maybe
Almost.
I've got this almost gone. But maybe I've got this wrong. But you tend to pair beers with whiskeys. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what are your criteria? What do you look for to pair a beer to a whiskey? Because I've got. And you're going to recognize this bottle real quickly, Tom.
Oh, yes. Blanton's.
Yes, so I'm going to pour a
Blanton's.
Blanton's here. If I'm drinking a Blanton's, what am I looking to pair this with?
So I've said you're not necessarily looking for light flavors and aromas. You're looking for flavors and aromas that you think are that would complement each other. Well, like putting a meal together, you know. What would that work with? So for me, if I'm drinking a Blanton's, if I remember the Blanton's correctly, I would pair that with a robust porter. I would love to pair that with a good FES, whatever you have locally. Anything barrel aged would work, but you don't need barrel aged when you got the bourbon.
Gotcha. Let me stop you 1 second, Tom.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback from you right
Yes.
now.
You know, you do.
doing?
You still have the link. Leave. This is weird. Leave the session, and then click the link again and come back to the session. I think that's what's
I'll
going to do.
that.
All right.
What do I do to leave?
He'll be right back. Just click Leave Studio at the bottom.
The little red X. There we go.
There we go.
There it is. Yeah, something happened.
It's his. I'm not sure whether he's on his phone or his. I'm assuming it's his phone. The way his video was coming up.
Yep.
So I don't know whether it's the Wi-Fi or just the connection. As soon as he brought out the bourbon, all hell broke loose.
That's usually tequila.
This is true.
The tequila. I can grab some tequila too.
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still kind of there,
It's
but
still there. Do you have are you on Wi-Fi or are you on?
Yeah. Does that make a difference?
I'm just trying to figure out what could be causing that because you were fine up until that minute. That was it.
you were fine until you brought up the bourbon.
Yeah, you brought out the bourbon and all hell broke loose. There you go. And he's gone again. And he's back again.
Coming back.
Brian Alt says we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
And a word from our producer.
There you go. All right. And while we're waiting for Tom to come back, Brian Boak is just teasing us, just to tease you. He has Boak's 2014 Monster Mash, Jan's Porter, which is a homebrew version, and Ramstein's Winter Wheat on tap in his basement. He started homebrewing again.
Okay.
Thanks for teasing us, Brian. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Brian, I will be in Jersey not this coming weekend, but the weekend after.
Brian, Dave and I will be stopping by your house.
We were.
And let's see if Tom's back now. Let's see if he's any better. Nope. Same thing.
Well, we'll suffer through this.
We'll suffer through it. We'll make it work. Hopefully, it just appears.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything on my end, so I'm not sure.
We can hear it on our end.
Sorry about that.
There's some fuzz, and we're getting a little. You're
Do you have?
getting.
You know
you're
what?
going robot.
Let's try this. Do you have You have a earbuds plugged in.
Yes.
Take them out and plug them back in again.
All right.
Let's see.
I tell you what, I'm going to leave the show to do this. All right.
All right, you got it.
But I'm digging the sci-fi effects right here, right now.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And I want him back because I really. Yeah. Okay. So Brian Altschul wants to come with us. I'm assuming the Me Too here is.
I'm assuming
we're
it's
coming
to
to Brian Boakes,
but are going to disappoint all three of us because Brian Boak just said he'll be in Myrtle Beach.
That's okay.
Okay, just leave
the key under
the mat, and we'll go in and help ourselves. We'll leave you a couple bucks. Don't worry, and some beer too. Enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave you. I'll leave you some Rhode Island beer and maybe a Trillium or two.
There you go. So, hopefully, you know what, Brian. When you get back from Myrtle Beach, at another point when Dave is down, we'll have to all hook up. That's what we'll do. So it's a little better.
Oh, there we go. That works.
Still popping a bit, but it's not like it was.
A hell of a lot better. But okay, good. So he's back, so we can drink our bourbon now. Well, what?
Hey, I'm ready when you are.
What whiskey you got there, John? So
all right. So me, as far as
Tom, you're gonna really enjoy what John's dredged up for this show here.
All right. So now I'm wearing I'm wearing a Rhode Island beer shirt from Revival Brewing, and they formerly of Cranston, Rhode Island.
Yes, they are moving to Sims Avenue in Providence.
Providence, right?
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Dorchester Brewing cap. Dorchester Brewing is in Southie. It's in South Boston, all the way down Massachusetts Avenue. Not too far away, just a few blocks away, is Bully Boy Distilling, and this is their bourbon that they make, and they take their bourbon that's obviously been barrel aged already, obviously, because that's why it's bourbon, and they put it back into oak casks with bitters, cherries, and oranges, and make basically an old fashioned out of and just pour their bourbon.
Oh, damn!
So it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that, Tom. Now, Tom, we were talking about pairing. So I've got Blanton's, right? Now, what I have here is from Lops Brewing. It is a habanero chocolate stout.
Okay, see, that's perfect. That's perfect because Blanton's is a bold bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't want that bourbon to overpower the beer. However, you don't want your beer to overpower your bourbon either. So you need a bourbon that's going to stand up to that beer.
Well, and also Blanton's being the single barrel, every Blanton's is going to be a little different.
By the way, this is just want to point this out. This is so good.
Guys, cheers.
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 First bourbon on the show, folks.
First bourbon on the show.
Really? Hey.
Yeah. Yes.
I popped your cherries, man.
You popped our cherries. There you go.
Was it good for you?
I'm a bad man.
It was very good for me right there. So that's really tasty. That's literally, you just pour that over ice. That's an old fashioned right there. Right out of the bottle.
Okay.
It's so good.
So what I'm pouring with this, because I know John's got it queued up as far as something he can bring up on the crawl. We've had Sean Lapolito on the show a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hell.
This is Lops Brewing's. So what they did for January is he's got his Imperial Stouts, and he's been doing different versions of these. And the first version was Habanero Chocolate Stout. I missed it on tap. He's got a Raspberry Chocolate Stout on now, which is fantastic. And I've had the base beer. The base beer is just so damn good. But this habanero chocolate, we're going to see how it goes with it if I had not friggin' Liz poured the hell out of the damn thing. Because I'm a couple beers in, a few sips. So we've got quite a lot of head to get through here. Hey, we're back to the Tijuana hooker.
You're back to the Tijuana hooker. There you go.
Oh, baby. I have stories.
We'll save that for the after show. Whoa.
About Tijuana or never mind. Or both, actually.
I was young. It was the 80s.
It was light. It was dark. I was confused.
Okay, so you're saying now this should be perfect with the Blantons, right?
Yeah, I think it worked fine because Blanton's is rather bold, so I don't think it will overpower the beer yet. I don't think that beer is going to overpower that whiskey, even though I haven't tasted that beer yet. I'm guessing you got a pretty good pairing.
There is quite a lot of habanero going on in this. Now, it's not like burning, but you get a lot of the habanero flavor. There's a little bit of burn to it. It's hiding the chocolate a little bit, but when I take some of this, right? The beer with the habanero flavor, they go to the Blanton's.
Right.
What it does is it pulls out that citrus character that Blanton's can have.
Yes.
Right? So this is an interesting pairing because you take the complementary flavors, and when you get a pairing like this, even with food and beer, food and wine,
Yes.
the complementary flavors will cancel each other out. And it'll pull other flavors out of both the beer and the whiskey at this point.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm getting so much citrus out of this, even though habanero has a citrus flavor to it.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not one of those people that eat habanero and you're spending the whole time screaming, and actually have gotten to the point where you can tolerate the capsaicin level of a habanero, you understand that there's a citrus flavor behind habanero. Most people are going, there's flavor to habanero?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some I've picked out stone fruit notes, a little apricot.
Yeah, right. It's just it's the best thing to do is you take Mazzetta's pickled habaneros, dice those up, throw it over vanilla ice cream, and you will get absolutely the flavors of habanero out of it. But in this beer, it's fantastic in this beer, and what it's doing to the whiskey, I've never experienced Blanton's like this before, and I've had quite a few different bottles of Blanton's. I've had some awful bottles of Blanton's, believe it or not. There was one bottle that I had, and it was offered to me, and I declined. It was all tobacco and creosote.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, you're making the point that I was making earlier, Samurai, is that you're not necessarily looking for like flavors and aromas. It's like trying to put a meal together. You're looking for flavors and aromas that you think will pair together.
Yeah, complementary flavors to each other, yeah.
And if anybody, those out there who are friends with Tom on Facebook.
Cheers to Brian, by the way. I just had that up.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. He's got his cheers up there. So cheers, Brian.
Cheers, Brian.
And while we're at it really quick, Brian Boak did say, no IPAs, but let's hook up. He said so.
Yes. Okay. So, and now I'm completely derailed with this. Where was I going with this?
You had bad bottles of blends, and you were offered one that you declined.
No. That we were beyond that.
That was the last thing you said.
No, it wasn't. Anybody who's friends with Tom on Facebook.
Oh, anybody who's friends with Tom on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll see that Tom cooks. You're the cook in the household, are you not?
I am. Although I do have to admit that my wife does the desserts. She's the baker, but yes, I do the meals.
Okay, so she's responsible for the belly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not the beer, but yeah.
There were a couple guys I went to college with that were bakers. They didn't make any food or anything.
Were they fabulous? Were they boys?
the baker boys.
Bakers baked.
The fabulous baker.
They baked, yeah. So.
Oh, that piano scene. Never mind.
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh, my Lord. I might have to go off camera for 10.
10.
10. 45 seconds.
Jeez.
I'm really enjoying this pair. So, John, did you have anything to pair with your whiskey?
I do, and I'm not going to open it just yet because there's a couple things. We definitely threw the format to shit so far.
That's on me, man.
No, you know what? I fully expected it to go to hell in so many good ways.
We have a couple of brewery news things. I'll pull Dave's beer off of here.
That's right. We do the industry news.
We do the industry news. Just a couple things.
Part of the format.
Just a couple things I want to bring up. Just an informational one. Nothing necessarily need to be discussed. We can chat about it if you wish. If you have anything to say about it. But CBC, the Craft Brewers Conference, was scheduled to be. It's in April every year, right? And it was in San Diego. They, due to obvious reasons. They have postponed it, and they've moved it. Not only postponed it, but they moved it. They postponed it until September and moved it to Denver. Gee, I wonder why they postponed it to September and moved it to Denver.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, it kind of might coincide with another beer fest that they're hoping to maybe get in.
There is another thing that happens in
There
Denver.
is.
There is. And
Hmm.
we do know that also in Jersey there was a beer festival that has announced that they were going to move outside.
Yes, they're moving the AC Beer Fest, which we're obviously, folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, and I'm sure a lot of you do, if you don't know what we're talking about the Great American Beer Fest in Denver. The second biggest beer fest in the United States is the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival, and that normally is the late March, early April every year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Didn't happen last year.
Oh, it's a massive. It's a massive drunken.
It's a massive. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you want to, it's so fun. but
John, just a quick note right here. I've got a message that you spelt habanero wrong.
There's always that one guy.
You who messaged you, Brian?
No. Brian would have put it right up on the screen. You know that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Brian actually just said GABF. Yes, GABF. Yeah. We have to go back again, Brian. It's been 5 years since we were at GABF. Brian.
And he spelled it right. Good.
And he spelled GABF correct. How do you spell GABF? I'm
gonna kiss a ginger again.
See, this is what happens when you add bourbon to the
mix. Oh my God, how far down the rabbit hole are we going? So, AC Beer Fest, they've moved it to June, and it's going to be outdoors. It's tentatively, they've moved it to June, and it's going to be outdoors. They're going to try and socially distance. It's on a big field, and they're gonna distance the booths as well. I mean, it's a whole thing. So check into that. It's always a great time.
Or the booze?
Both. Everything, all of the above. But in any event, so that's what's going on. So you know what? I hope, beyond hope, that they actually do get back, or we're actually able to get back to beer fests this year. I have my doubts, but hey, you know what? Anything can happen. Let's hope for the best. And Brian has already rebooked his hotel for AC. So in case anybody was wondering, our producer has rebooked his hotel for the AC Beer Fest.
Dibs on the tub.
There you go. The other thing I want to bring up is we're in January, right?
Yeah.
Dry January.
February? No.
January.
December?
Something like that. Now, clearly, none of the three of us are experiencing dry January.
No, but I know that the lovely Jess is.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
But only half of it, correct?
She said she's going to do it.
She's 50% in.
Right. She says she's going to do at least 2 weeks, and we'll go from there. She said so. At least 2 weeks, we'll go from there. So, but in any event, dry January. My question is this. I mean, first of all, just to give you a little background, it's actually only been around for, other than maybe private people doing their own thing.
And I am diametrically opposed to this concept. But go ahead.
It's actually been a legit online social thing for less than a decade. It allegedly started in the UK around 2013, somewhere in there. But my question to you guys, both of you, how many people have you ever? I know the answer is no, but I'm just going to ask you both. Have you ever? No dry January.
No,
you have done a dry January?
No, not January. In college, I had a friend. Believe it or not, I had a friend. Believe it or not,
you had a friend in college. It's mind-boggling.
It's insane. Nowadays, I have to pay for them. And I have to go to Tijuana.
And wear a condom.
3. But so this one friend, he had gotten into this, like, oh God, he got really deep into some of the harder core drugs, and he had a really, really bad trip, and he wanted to get off of it. So he decided to go for a month without any whatsoever. Okay. And to support him, I decided to go dry for a month.
There you go.
And we both succeeded. At the end of the month, he was like, I've never felt better in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm done with the hard stuff.
He just went to the easy stuff.
Well, he did just pot.
There you go.
Okay, whatever. And I said, well, cool, let's celebrate. Give me a beer.
There you go.
But I had gone a whole month. But the thing is, that whole month was to prove to myself, because,
you could do it if you want to.
Yes, and it was to prove to myself that, okay, no, I am not prone to alcoholism, despite what this show is starting to show right now. And you know what? And you've heard me use this phrase before, John. It's one of my favorite phrases. I am not an alcoholic. An alcoholic needs a beer, right?
Right.
I already have one.
You already have the beer. Yes, exactly. Brian just said, dry January ends on Martin Luther King Day, obviously. So there you go. That's why Jess is only doing it 2 weeks. That's it.
There we go. So she's good. She's
good.
And I know what you're going to open when she one of the beers I sent you. You're going to open when
absolutely. Yeah, there's a couple of sours that you sent that I'm not opening until she's drinking again. So she'll shoot me if I do. The other question I was going to ask you guys is, all right, other than, do you know anybody currently that's going through, obviously, other than me, do you guys know anybody that's doing a dry January? Drinking buddies or anything else?
I
don't know anybody else.
I don't.
So.
Not personally, no.
Like
not
close,
other than social
close.
media, no.
Social media, yeah, of course.
No, you know what? I really don't. I don't cavort with quitters.
All right, here's the main question, though. What do you think? I mean, obviously, there's a number of people that are doing dry January. You think it's a big enough number that smaller breweries are actually going to feel the effects of dry January? Or do you think that it's just such a small number of people that it's going to kind of skate right by and that's it?
It's fun watching the breweries try to pander to this movement by putting out their NAs, right? The non-alcoholics. Right. I've seen at least 2 that I can think of that have done so.
Right.
But I've not seen, to your point, John, between the 3 of us, can we scrape up 5 people we know that are doing this?
1, and she's downstairs.
And she's downstairs. Oh, okay. She's home now.
Right, yeah.
So
making a delicious soup for dinner, so.
Well, that's to be seen yet. You haven't tasted it.
Oh no, it'll be delicious. Her soups are ridiculously good.
Really?
Yeah.
It is. It's National Soup Month, by the way.
There you go.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And I've got a soup in the works. I've got some squashes here that I got from Trillium Brewing, as a matter of fact.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So I've got to figure that out. But no, I don't know that it's a big enough movement in this country, at least, for the breweries to be impacted.
No,
I don't think it is. Yeah, I think you're right. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I actually think it affects more bars, maybe casual dining restaurants than it does breweries.
Right, because the brewery goers are going to scoff like I have done so, and I apologize. No, I'm not going to even apologize for that. Who have scoffed at it, because it's there's no Shavember. I get that, because usually no Shavember, you're raising money for a cause.
Sure.
Yeah.
Does Dry January raise money for anything?
Sure, yourself.
No.
You're not spending the money.
That's true. No, because what happens is after January, I am going to binge.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's true too. 6 of one, half dozen the other. The same amount of money is spent by the end of February. So
yeah, so you've got January, spend nothing in January,
and double in February.
You double February.
Right, that's it. Same thing.
But February is a shorter month, so maybe I am saving a
little bit. Yeah, microscopic.
A little bit.
Brian did say he thinks it has an impact. He's heard from a brewery that he's close to. I wonder what brewery he could be talking about. And most of the people working there are doing it.
That disappoints me.
Well, they need to hire better people then. That's all I got. What
brewery could Brian be talking about?
There might be. Well, the owner might be in mourning right now because his favorite team.
It's a week and a half old at this point. I mean, get over it, Bob. I mean, I don't know who he's talking about, but
no clue what he's talking about. Really? That would really surprise me if most of the people at that brewery who will go unmentioned. That would surprise me if they're doing it.
That would surprise me if it is that brewery. Yeah, that's true.
Especially the sales guy.
It would be a little shocking. knowing where he lives too. That would definitely shock.
Actually, it would be even more shocking if he had given up chicken parms for a month.
I was talking about the other guy, but
no! I'm not talking to the highly tatted. Hey, vote on my new tat guy.
But In any event, I digress. That was pretty much it.
We've
Hey,
digressed.
that's my line. You
This
took my
whole-
line.
This whole show, we've digressed, John.
We've digressed. We've digressed from the minute I said welcome to the lager room. We've digressed.
That's on me again, guys. That's me.
This is why we had
Right.
you on, Tom, because we knew.
All
We
right.
knew. So
All right. We
okay.
knew,
So
we
we're
knew.
going to stick to the format. So the next thing on the format would be the threes.
Well, no. The next thing on the form would be me
no.
opening my beer.
Oh God, yeah, yes. Because so what? I'm on my third. Tom's on his
Third, yeah. I'm opening up my second right
You're
now.
going to open your
'cause
second.
I've been talking too much. This is. I'm just.
He's never been accused of that before.
Imagine that, yeah. I just found out about this beer last night, as a matter of fact. Ross Brewing is in Port Monmouth, New Jersey. They've only been open less than a year, I think.
And Ross Brewing is named after
Go ahead.
John Ross, right?
John Ross, right?
A mutual friend of ours.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure I've actually met him. I'm friends with him on Facebook. But we know that we both are mutual friends with his head brewer.
Yes, PJ.
PJ. Hey, PJ.
Hey, PJ. Cheers to PJ.
Hopefully PJ's watching. If not, he'll
And
live.
Brian is good friends with PJ because he actually had, speaking of peppers, a lot of them when he won his the hot sauce award and his trivia hot sauce. What the
Oh,
heck was that?
really?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the. So PJ Windle is the head brewer of Ross Brewing. He is the admin for Essential Guide Talk.
Mhm.
There's an Essential Guide Talk hyphen, and the thing after the hyphen tends to change every now and then.
Right.
They have done some amazing things. They did a charity softball event, which was the pork roll versus Taylor ham.
Hmm.
That was a lot of. I wish I had been down there to participate in that.
Yeah, it was good.
But Essential Guide Talk, it's a if you're not part of that group on Facebook, that's a very fun site. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there.
It's a great site. It's a fun site.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm drinking Ice Boat. It's their winter warmer. It's their spiced winter warmer. PJ referred to it as a Scotch ale
Ice
last night. So
Boat.
Ice Boat. Ice boaty. He said
Hey,
to look for.
Tom,
He said to
you
look
just-
for a.
Tom,
so-
you just fixed your lighting.
I
We can
did.
see
I was
you.
like, I got dark here.
Okay,
I can see you.
okay.
You were as dark as my dark side as my shirt there for a while.
I thought we were doing a 60 Minutes interview. And
Well, it is 60. We're not quite at 60 minutes yet, but I have a
Hey,
feeling we're going to go over.
That is a dark winter warmer right there.
Oh, what? That is a winter
oh,
warmer.
yeah, look at that.
Damn.
Look at that.
That's a winter warmer. That's
That's
not. So it's not a stout, a
It's a
porter, or
winter
a
warmer.
Schwartz.
He's calling it a Scotch ale. He called it last night.
That's too
we were
dark
going
for a
back and
Scotch.
forth.
That's awful dark for a
Well,
Scotch.
I'm going to take a
yeah.
sip of it. Hold on. First, I'm going to smell it.
Tell us what you got there.
Oh wow. It's not. There's roast, but there's not a lot of roast there. There's
That dark and no roast,
No. There's roast, but there's not. There's not as much roast. If this were a stout,
as you would see.
Yeah.
you
Okay.
would see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that color would imply roasted barley.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's
We're
mellowed by
talking.
something.
We're
Oh, wow.
talking patent malts, chocolate malts.
Oh, that's really good. I'm definitely getting cinnamon in this. It's a spice. It's a
Cinnamon,
spiced winter.
cinnamon?
It's. They're calling it a spiced winter ale right there. On the can. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely getting cinnamon, molasses. That's for sure.
Molasses,
Molasses. Yes.
Molasses.
Molasses.
as opposed to possum asses.
That's a little bit of
Okay,
asses.
so, well, I live in Missouri, so.
There you go.
Molasses.
Possum's a delicacy.
It is.
In the Ozarks, possum's
Oh, my
a
God.
delicacy.
Yeah, that's really
I'm
good.
not eating it, but yeah.
Listen,
So it's
I
bushy tail, right?
picked up the not to cut into your possum conversation, but I picked up a 4-pack of this today. Like I said, I just found out about this beer last night on Essential Guide Talk on Facebook, and I went and he told me where to go get it. That was closest to me. I went and picked it up today.
He told you where to go, huh?
Told me where to go. Told me go straight there. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
I get told that all the time.
I know. I don't have to leave the house to get told that. But
You've been told that many times.
a day. Yeah. So, but in any event, yeah, this is. I think I'm going to have to make a stop back up there and get another 4-pack of this because this is just fantastic.
Really is it?
Cheers, PJ. This is really good.
PJ, you know we love you, man.
And let's see how it pairs with my bourbon. Very nice. Oh,
So what? So I imagine. Okay, from what you told me about the beer, what
Yep.
you told me about the bourbon,
Yep.
I imagine you're getting a lot more of the cherry now,
yes. Super.
right?
Yeah.
Because everything else would cancel out, and that
The bar-
cherry would
the
start to shine
barrel and
through.
the barrel and the bourbon is canceled out completely. There's
Yep.
there's like the oak is kind of minimal. The vanilla and caramel in the bourbon is definitely way down. I'm getting teeny little bit of orange, super amount of cherry.
So, Johnny, I gotta ask
the
you a
bitter's
question.
gone too. Really.
I got to ask you a question. Are they using
Sure.
a bourbon? Are they using a traditional bourbon that uses rye as secondary, or is it a wheated bourbon?
This, I believe, is a they used a bourbon that uses a rye as a secondary.
Okay, that would make sense. All
that-
right.
that
I'm just
would-
curious.
yeah,
I've never
yeah,
had that bourbon, so I was wondering.
I've had their bourbon a couple of times, and if I recall, the last time I was at the distillery was just about a year ago. It was EBF, Extreme Beer Fest weekend last year. That was the last time I was in Boston. That was the last time I was there. And I believe, if memory serves correct, it is a using rye as a secondary. It's not a wheated bourbon. I could be wrong. Please don't quote me on that. Anybody, if
Oh,
anybody
I
from
will-
Bully
I
Boy
will-
Distillers
I
is
will- I
listening to
will
that, please
quote you
write in
on
and
that.
let us know. So, but I believe it is using rye.
I'll
So
say
this
one
is
thing.
really
I'm just
good. You're right.
curious.
It's definitely cutting everything else out and giving me the.
So my bourbon's gone now,
I got a big cherry right here.
and we've second cherry. Is this the second cherry we've broken?
Two cherries in one show. Oh my God!
Oh
What do
my
you got?
Lord! I need a cigarette.
So this beer. So I went whole crowler on a friggin' 8.2, which means work's going to be
Oh yeah.
You know, fun
so
tomorrow.
hard tomorrow. But what's
Oh.
interesting about this beer is, I told you there's not a lot of heat to the habanero. You get the habanero flavor,
Right.
but for anybody who is a chili head, that feeling that you get once the burn's gone, that tingle on the lips, that there's a presence in the throat
Okay.
after all the burn's gone, after you've quelled it in one way or another, either by time or by throwing a shit ton of sour cream on it. But the feel of this beer is that afterglow
Right.
of eating some really hot chilies. And chili heads know what I'm talking about. So if you're not a chili head and watching this program, you've got no clue what I'm talking about. But if you are, you know what I'm talking about. And this is what this beer throws as a
Gotcha.
mouthfeel.
That's wild.
Mouthfeel, throat feel, whatever. And the chocolate. So those chocolate oranges
Sure.
you break apart. Take one of those and just dunk it in a whole bunch of like hot chili.
Gotcha.
and
That's what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I think that's part of the Blantons interacting with it.
Yeah, that
Right.
definitely could be. And I'm glad you said that, because at first when you said tingle on the lips and presence in the throat, I wasn't sure whether you were talking about the beer or the Tijuana hooker.
Because if you get too much tingle, that's a bad thing.
Right.
That's that, and you need some penicillin. Yeah.
Right.
Not that I know personally. I'm just telling you what I've heard.
What I've heard.
Experience. No, there's no experience involved here. This is just it's all circumstantial evidence.
Right.
It's anecdotal.
I'm just glad social media didn't exist in the 80s. That's all I'm
Oh my
saying.
God! Could you imagine?
There was no cell phones with cameras at that time.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell.
I feel bad for 20-somethings right now.
Yeah.
And I'm the father of 3 of them, but we'll leave it alone.
Oh,
right now. So
hang in there, buddy.
two of them are girls. So
and all 4 of my kids are under 20 at this point.
there you go.
No, God.
Mine are grown.
Gotcha.
I have grandkids, guys.
You have grandkids.
You're a
Cheers to
grandfather?
you.
Yeah.
to you, Grandpa.
Good.
I
to your
must be older
grandchildren.
than you guys. Thanks. I'm 55.
Oh my God, I'm not the oldest person on the show for a
Oh
change.
my God! That means I'm the baby, but we're all within 3 years of each other.
Yeah, I've got 2 grandkids, guys.
I have, thank God, no grandchildren at the moment because my oldest is 19. He's in the Air Force. He's in Italy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got assigned to Aviano NATO base.
Nice.
He's in Italy. Are you sure you don't have grandkids?
He doesn't have grandkids that he knows of. That's what he's saying.
No,
He's in Italy.
No.
And we're not even referring to him.
No.
So,
3 days ago, he got out of quarantine, so he hasn't.
Oh,
he hasn't had the
gotcha.
opportunity yet. So give him a while. Come on.
But no, he's got a serious girlfriend, and
Oh, very nice.
There you go.
Yeah, so we'll see how that all goes.
We'll
I've
see how that
warned him.
goes. All right, and Brian Boak just wants to say he has 4 grandkids and he's older than all of us. Yes, he is.
Yeah, we know you are, Brian.
Brian, you're several years older than all of us.
I acquiesce, Brian.
Yeah.
So we've got to get, for Brian's sake, so that he can, because being such an old man, I know he needs to go to bed soon. We need to move on to the next segment.
Let's go to our 33s. Tom, what we do is we do a segment called 33s, and we pay tribute, pay homage to 1933 when Prohibition was repealed, and we do a top 3 list. And our top 3s this week, and we each go around and we tell our top 3s on the same subject.
And Tom helped us pick it this year.
Tom did help us pick it this year.
This year.
He picked the whole year.
The whole year. I will send you the list tomorrow.
How's that beer?
I'm blaming it on Blanton.
Blame it on Blanton's. Blame it on Blanton's. Wasn't that a movie back in the 80s? Blame it on Blanton's.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it might have been, actually. This year. I'm going to say it now, too. This week, Tom did help us pick out the topic. It's going to be top 3 beers that top 3 retired. It was originally defunct, but defunct means has a bad connotation. So
yeah, but we've
retired.
got the reason we used defunct is because the wording was originally, and we've got to give a nod to Sean Lapolito.
Right.
This is his beer, because when we told him that we did the top 3s, he gave us a few options, and some of them were intriguing.
Right.
And so this one is actually his idea. It's, John and I did not come up with this.
This was actually Sean Lapolito's idea, and Tom decided that this was the one to do tonight. So
yes.
Dave and I have absolutely nothing to do with this list.
No.
Blame it on Sean and Tom.
Yes,
so
we'll blame it on Sean.
So
I'll take the heat.
It's top 3 retired beers that we would like to see come back. All right. So let's begin.
We'll go with the guess.
We'll go with the guess first.
Yes.
Okay,
Tom,
so
why don't you give us your 3?
So the first one is for sentimental reasons, right?
Go for
so like I've said ad nauseum at this point that I grew up in Southern California, but in '87 I moved to Western Washington, and I got to admit at the time I was mostly a macro drinker, but I'd had Guinness and a few other things, so I knew I had a taste for other beers. So I got up to Western Washington, Bellingham, more specifically, and I found Red Hook. And they're at that time their flagship was their ESB, and I tried that and I said, man, that's a good beer. But then they had a beer at the time called the Rye Hook. It was a rye ale, not even a pale ale, not an IPA, just a rye ale. Mm-hmm. And that thing was just so spectacular to my taste buds as a 22-year-old. I thought, oh my gosh, it just led me to so many other beers.
That's I have had that beer. It was delicious. You're absolutely right.
So my second one is I don't know why they don't make this beer anymore, but it's probably about 2009 maybe that I had this for the first time. A Grand Teton Pursuit of Hoppiness, and it was it was the first, Imperial Red that I ever had. I also thought it was one of the greatest beer names of all time.
That's a great beer
Pursuit
name.
of Hoppiness was, oh my gosh. The last time I had that is 2013, and I know they don't make it anymore. So, I just love that beer. And you can only buy it in 750s, but that beer was just insanely good. And number 3 is a local. Again, on that hoppy red category, Springfield Brewing had a beer that they did. Wasn't one of their first, but it was an early beer for them. It was very popular, called the Hop Lobster, and one of my early videos was for that beer.
I missed
the Hop
video.
Lobster. So I'll send you the link. It's me just being stupid, which is usually what I do. But so
you got the B-52s in the background, right?
Hop Lobster.
I do, yeah, I'm playing the Hop Lobster and I'm showing cue cards and I'm dancing. That's the whole video. But anyway, They didn't call it a red IPA. They just called it a hoppy red, but it was brilliant. So I recently talked to the brewer out there, the head brewer, about resurrecting the beer. And here's what I was told, is that they're having problems resurrecting that beer because beer snobs have taken a disliking to crystal malt. And that beer used a lot of crystal malt.
Oh, screw that.
Us old guys have to suffer because some beer snob that only wants beer that tastes like fruit juice doesn't like crystal malt.
No.
Okay. Remind me, Tom. Remind me after we finish the podcast. Remind me to tell you a story about beer snobs, if you will. So,
Well, those are my three.
Those are your three. Good job. Those are good things.
John, hit your three.
I'll hit my three. All right. Number one. Actually, I'm not going to give number one. These are in no particular order. These are. It's not the third most, second, third. It's just, these are three in any particular order. The first one I'm going to say is there used to be a brewery in Ocean Township, New Jersey, prior to Kane Brewing, right? long prior to Kane Brewing.
We're going back. Almost a decade and a half.
Yeah, they closed their doors 15 years ago in 2006, and that was Heavyweight Brewing. And Tom Baker, he moved his operation, if you will.
Wait a second, Doctor Who?
What? Doctor Who? Yeah, he moved his operation to down to Philly, and opened up Earth Bread and Beer. And it's a couple. He's got two locations, so I believe one's in Brewerytown and one is not too far away. They're just north of Philly, northwest of Philly, and it's in a suburb. And Dynamite Brew Pub, great beer, great food, fantastic. Him and his wife do them. But anyway, when he had Heavyweight Brewing in Ocean, he brewed a lot of really good beer. But the one I'm missing is Stick and Jab. It was an alt beer, a stick alt,
an alt.
Stick alt, yeah.
Stick alt, yeah.
Like Brian Alt.
Like Brian Alt, right? Exactly. That's where his name comes from, right? His parents named him after an alt beer.
So alt, yeah. Well, alt. So alt is German for old.
Right.
Yes.
So alt beer, old ale.
Yep.
Yeah. Any of those, I love that style of beer. That's one of my favorite styles of beer. But Stick and Jab was a 6.4% alt beer. It was actually brewed in collaboration with the New Jersey Association of Beer Writers when they first wrote it. When they first brewed it.
So would Tara be part of that?
I don't think she was writing it. I don't think she was part. I could be wrong. I don't think she was writing with the New Jersey Association of Beer Writers. I know I wasn't, but whatchamacallit? This was before 06. I mean.
She may have.
She may have been. I don't know. We'll have to ask her when she's on the show.
Oh, we got to get her on the show.
Yeah. But in any event, it was a delicious alt beer. It really, really, really was good. The last one I had actually back in the day had plenty of them, obviously, but they closed in 06. My cousin actually brought over, probably about 6+ years ago. Showed up at my house and he had an 04, so it was like 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And you would think an alt beer, 6.4% alt beer, how's that going to hold up? Holy crap! This thing was. I mean, nothing. It was nothing like the original beer, but it wasn't bad. It was really wonderfully, like crazy good.
Yeah, because
it had just evolved into this. It evolved into this caramel luscious dessert. It was really good.
Because an alt usually has maybe 5 years on it.
Yeah, I mean you would think. And when he showed up and it was like
Brian Alt has more than 5 years on.
Brian Alt has more than 5 years on him. Yeah, but it like I said, the hops were all gone and everything else. But it evolved into this caramel delicious dessert. It was crazy good. Anyway, so yeah, that's one of them. The second one of them. Second one, Cricket Hill Brewing, still around. Didn't go anywhere. They're still brewing beer. Hi, Rick. Rick was on with us a couple weeks ago. They used to brew a Schwartz beer back, and they stopped brewing it. I believe it was 2012 was the last time they brewed the Schwartz beer.
I'm gonna put a bookmark on that Schwartz beer because I will bring one up a little later.
Absolutely. So they used to brew the Schwartz beer. They actually changed the style. They kept the name and changed the beer to a chocolate stout.
They did, yes.
They brewed it for 2 or 3 years, and then it was gone. Then they retired the name and everything else. But
we were talking about Nocturne.
2012 and before, Cricket's Nocturne. It was a 4.5% Schwarzbier, and it was one of the in my palate, it was one of the best beers that they brewed.
Oh, and I agree.
I was upset when they actually changed it to a chocolate stout and then got rid of it. I just was. But I will say this. I just want to bring this up right now. We were in a. I won't say where. We were in a beer store, and it wasn't Cable Beverage, up in Bardonia, New York. 304.
The best ever shelf turd.
Absolutely. You want to find beers that are 90 years old and they're actually still good. Are in this store, but it wasn't in there. It was actually in Brick Township.
If you want to find something that was brewed by George Washington himself,
go
to
Cable Beverage.
Into Cable Beverages, and somewhere deep in there, and it like the Pennsylvania section.
You got to move. Look, Tom. By the way, there's beers. You walk around the shelves. There's beers in front. There's different beers behind them, and there's different beers behind that.
Oh, so they've got nothing to do with one another.
You just got to look.
There's no relation.
Nothing. So anyway,
you can be in like the section that is California, and you can find something that is like
from Belgium.
Yeah.
So,
the place is insane.
We're not putting this place down. We're promoting this place. This is a
absolutely.
wonderful cornucopia.
Please stay away from Cable Beverages, so John and I can go in there.
We can get our own
turd.
But anyway, we found
the shelf gems
in a bottle shop in Brick Township, New Jersey.
Bricktown, New Jersey. Which one would that be?
I'm not even going to say because I don't want people to go there and buy what is left there because I still want to get back there.
I know exactly the place you're talking about because that was the place I would always go when I lived there.
Found a bottle from 2010.
Now, you did not find that bottle.
Oh, my God.
No, the lovely Jessica found the bottle. Yes,
yeah, that's not on you. That's on her.
And I will be honest, found 2 bottles. There's another one downstairs. I just brought one up to do this show.
She did you a solid.
She did me a solid. It's wonderful. It's an amazing beer. I wonder how it tastes 11 years old, but we'll see how it tastes. And I do have to save one of them to open up with Rick. I did promise Rick that I will open one of them with him. But in any event, so that was that.
Hopefully I'll be in Jersey when that happens.
Absolutely. So that's one of them. And then the other one, let's give a nod to Mr. Brian Boak. Mr. Brian Boak had Boak's beer. He brewed out of Ramstein, which is in Butler.
Up in High Point.
With Greg Zaccardi and High Point Brewing. He brewed a number of different beers. One of the beers he brewed was Wooden Beanie. Wooden Beanie. Wooden Beanie. One of the beers he used... he used 2 different beers for this beer. Now, so he barrel aged. It was either his Abbey Brown or his Belgian Double. His Abbey Brown was named Abbey Brown. It didn't have a name to it. And
it wasn't named Abbey.
It wasn't named. His Belgian Double.
I knew her.
I knew Abbey. Yeah.
What about Abbey Normal?
Abbey Normal. She was related to Abbey Brown, but
I knew her better.
Right, exactly. But he used his Belgian Double too, which was 2 Blind Monks. While I loved the version of Wooden Beanie with 2 Blind Monks, I absolutely adored the version of Wooden Beanie with his Abbey Brown. It's a 7%. It was a 7% Abbey Brown, and he aged it in Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans.
Yes.
So his Abbey Brown was a different beer.
You're not calling the right thing. So vanilla Wooden Beanie.
Vanilla. Well, no. It was a vanilla Wooden Beanie, but the
vanilla
Wooden
Beanie. So vanilla
that sounds dirty, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. He would take the Abbey Brown and he would put it in Jack Daniel's barrels with
you've met Brian then.
So here you go.
vanilla Wooden Beanie, and one of my favorite things Brian ever.
There you go. And Brian Boak just said, and this is the man right here. This is the man, the myth, the legend, right here. Brian Boak. Everyone loved Wooden Beanie. Yes, they did. And
if you look at his profile picture right there, that is the Monster Mash logo.
And right there, that's the Monster Mash logo. Abbey Brown was the original 2 Blind Monks recipe. So he morphed his Abbey Brown into the 2 Blind Monks, whatchamacallit. So obviously the brown ale with that, just, I guess, less doubled up, if you will. But in any event, he also later on actually aged, I should say. Monster Mash was probably one of his best flagship beers, if you will. It was probably his best.
Definitely
for
best
me.
known.
For me.
Yeah,
His
best known.
right. Monster Mash, and let's just put his comment back up. That was the logo for Monster Mash right there. And he said, no, not vanilla wooden beanie. The beanie is the vanilla bean. See, there you go.
There we
just straighten it out. So it's just wooden beanie.
I stand corrected.
There you go. So he would take the Monster Mash, which is a 10% Russian Imperial Stout, and he would barrel age that in the Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans, and it was Monster Mash, Monster Wooden Beanie. He called it.
Oh God!
Brian, please comment in right now. There was a snow monster too. What was that?
Oh God! Yeah, I remember
Snow
the
monster. What was Snow Monster?
No. We have to have Brian on the show.
Brian's got to come on the show. Absolutely.
Yeah, Brian's got to come on the show.
But he's here right now, so tell us what Snow Monster was. We'll talk about it more when he's on the show, and that's fine. But
okay, so are you done with your 3?
I'm waiting for Brian to comment back on what Snow Monster was. But yes, please continue with your 3.
So while he's talking about his 3, we'll move on to my 3.
Yeah, he was chattier than I was.
Absolutely. Me talking?
Because this is what John. But if anyone can talk more than John, that would be me. So we're going to get into my 3. Again, no order, but the first one I'm going to talk
There's
about.
There's
never any order. Sierra Nevada used to put out this beer in fall.
Yes.
It was a hoppy brown ale. It was called Tumbler.
I remember Tumbler.
Remember Tumbler?
Oh
God, that was a beautiful beer. I've got a shirt, and I would have dug it out, but the work involved was beyond my. I didn't want to. It was just. It's in those boxes over there somewhere. So I wore my my Star Wars shirt that is a Darth Vader warning, choking hazard instead. But I do have because he is a choking hazard.
Wait. Are we talking about the Tijuana hooker again?
Depends on how deep you go.
I'm going to stop that right now.
That's what she said.
I've referred back to that a couple of times.
That's what she said.
So, but Tumbler was a beautiful beer. It was this autumn, and autumn hoppy brown was the only way to describe this beer. It had all the flavors of autumn. It had that flavor of leaves you stepped on and crunch. But there's also this hot presence to it that was so Sierra Nevada at the time, and the fact that they stopped making that. That upset me. It was such a damn good beer. I look forward to that every year. And it's gone.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to bring that back. So the next beer, I'm going to go Jersey on this one. So Magnify is one of those breweries that has become so IPA centric. They've got to. They do have to. Their fan base wants those IPAs that they put out. And yes. I get that. But when they first started, they had a beer called Black Wheat.
Yes, Black Wheat.
John,
yes.
You remember this beer.
I remember Black Wheat.
I could not ever get the owner of the brewery to admit that this was a Schwartz beer. It was a straight-up Schwartz beer, and it was one of the greatest Schwartz beers brewed in the state of New Jersey, because not a lot of breweries went Schwartz beer. No. They did.
It was one of the first 4 beers they brewed. That was one of the first 4 beers.
That was one of the first, absolutely, and it was fantastic. They so the owners of the brewery really made a painstaking search to get their head brewer. And the guy that they brought in had such a friggin' pedigree, and he brewed this beer, and I absolutely love this beer. And so, because every brewery has to make money.
Sure.
And we know the best way to make money as a brewery is brew IPAs. So they do that.
I don't know if it's the best way to make money. It's certainly the quickest way to make money.
It is the quickest way.
Yeah.
So they abandoned this beer. And I lamented the abandonment of this beer because I think it was one of the best beers they ever brewed. Because any brewery can make an IPA.
Sure.
To make a damn good Schwartz beer.
Oh, yeah.
Not every brewery can do that.
You can't.
And they did. And they abandoned it because their fan base didn't buy it.
No, they didn't.
And I get it. But I would love to see this come back. I would love to see their fan base get to the point where they're matured enough.
Brew it once.
It says Tom's with me here.
Absolutely.
They're matured enough that they're beyond the IPAs and they want something that is classic, that is brewed well, and is brewed to the style that it's supposed to be. So that's my number 2.
Brew it once. Brew a 20-barrel, 40-barrel batch, whatever. Release some of it and do some variants of it.
Yeah.
And barrel.
Yeah, I don't know that beer needs variants.
It doesn't need variants, but I mean, if they want to make money on,
John, this is one of the few things we've ever disagreed upon that needs no variants.
No variants.
No. It doesn't need any variants. I agree with you. It doesn't.
Okay.
I'm talking about the marketing aspect of it. If they want to, they're talking about they just release the IPA after IPA after IPA. We know that's fine.
We know Eric's not listening. So.
I know. Yeah. Oh, if this can get to Eric. If
it gets to Eric,
brew it. You know what? Brew 2 barrels for me and Dave.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll send some to Tom. We'll be good.
Hey, well, okay.
The way I drink, I will drink a barrel and a half of it, and John and Tom can
drink the other half barrel. Okay.
So
before you go to your third one, we're drowning in comments here. I just want to get these up really quick.
Yeah.
Brian said Blunderbore was the name of Monster Mash with Jack Daniel's barrels and beans. It was the name of Jack in the Giant in Jack and the Beanstalk. That's what Monster Wooden Beanie was. Blunderbore.
See, This is why I love Brian, because he delves into
Brian. I'm sending you a friend request.
Absolutely, please do. Friend request Brian. Absolutely.
He's a great human being.
Yes, and he absolutely is.
And the best thing about Brian is the drunker that he gets, the harder he sells.
Absolutely. Oh my God. But Blunderbore. As soon as he said Blunderbore, I knew damn well that's right. Oh damn, it was Blunderbore. And just as a side note, Brian loved it.
Yeah.
Blunderbore, he loved it. And we're gonna get to Brian. Actually, gave us his 3 missing ones too.
Which Brian?
Brian Alt. We're gonna get to his 3 missing ones. Yeah, Brian Boak, if you want to give us your 3, that's fine too. Iced Monster Mash was the abominable snow monster, not the abdominal snow monster, the abominable snow monster. I knew what Brian meant. I just wanted to point that out. All right. Unless there was an abdominal.
Different beer, man.
The complete abdominal snow monster. And and he also said, and to go back to Abbey Brown was the first version of Two Blind Monks, but it turned out to have too much chocolate profile and was darker than he wanted, but tasted great. I loved it.
Not for nothing, John,
I loved it.
Not for nothing. Stop throwing up Brian's stuff, because we're gonna Brian.
We'll have
you need to be on the show. You need to be on the show. And okay, so the last thing that John put up was way too long for a comment.
And by the way, he's working off of a phone, so the spell check, obviously, autocorrect changed abdominal to abominable to abdominal. So there you go. It makes perfect sense now. There you go.
Abdominal.
We'll have him on the show, and you need to bring some of this stuff up. So you need to stop commenting, so that we got something to talk
about when you're on the show. There you go. All
okay,
right.
So
what's your number one? What's your number one?
So, this is actually number 1. So 2 and 3 can be swapped back and forth, but number 1 is absolutely number 1. So Weyerbacher Brewing, they're in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
And I know what you're going to say. So
yeah, they're in Pennsylvania. They make a quad because Weyerbacher loves the Belgian styles. Mary Monk's is one of their most popular beers.
Yes.
And they barrel aged that, and that was fun. But they did a quad version of a quad Belgian style. And at one point, they barrel aged it, and they called this thing Decadence. And Decadence was, you couldn't have named this beer any better. So the thing about Decadence, it's a bourbon barrel aged quad. So Tom, I expect you to perk up at that. You take a quad, you barrel age it, and when it first gets released, this thing was hot as hell. It was almost undrinkable to begin with. You give it a couple of years. At 3 years, this beer, holy crap! The tasting note that you would get out of this, you would spend probably at least 20 minutes pulling tasting notes out of it. And when they discontinued this, I remember when they discontinued this, I was extremely upset because there's so much of there's a few other beers in their catalog that they still continue to barrel age, right? So, what the barley wine becomes Insanity, right?
Yep.
Their stout.
Insanity is the barley one. It becomes Heresy.
No.
Oh, Heresy becomes Insanity. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so Heretic is their stout. That becomes Heresy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Blithering Idiot is their barley wine. That becomes
Insanity. Yes.
And the tagline...
I've actually had those, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the tagline is the fool finally lost it.
Yeah.
Right. Mary Monk's becomes... So they take Mary Monk's, which is a Belgian triple. They barrel age that. That one becomes... oh, crap, I can't remember the name of that right now. But that's a really good beer. But the quad, all those three they still do. But the quad, they barrel age and they discontinue it in Decadence. And John has had this before. And not only has he had this, he has had it. John, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I know you're talking.
I've had Decadence many times, but the best time I've had it, and if Brian is still on, because he did say he had to drop off any minute for a work call, whatchamacallit, Brian was there that day, and Dave, you were invited, but you weren't there that day.
It was probably one of those days where you guys all had off for some sort of strange holiday, and I still had to work.
And you still had to work, yeah.
Yeah.
But a bottle of Decadence was brought. And I believe this is probably about 6 years ago, so it was about 2015. The bottle was from 2005, so it was a 10-year-old bottle of Decadence.
That must have been spectacular.
Oh my God!
You know what? When you opened the bottle, you heard the word Decadent. Open like that was
oh my goodness!
It was
Lord.
This thing. I said this before, and I'll say it again, and I said it to Dave before. I literally, and I'm not lying when I say this, I wanted to break the bottle open and lick the inside of the bottle. That's how good this beer was.
Of all the breweries in Pennsylvania that I've been to and that I've tried, Weyerbacher has thrown out some of the greatest beers, despite being in that region of Pennsylvania where it's like, I don't think the water is the best for brewing. They have done some amazing things with that water, and Decadence to me was possibly the epitome. And God, I would.
It was such a good beer. It was crazy.
And I wish they still do the quad. Last I checked, and
they still do the quad. I'll tell you what. Mike is the New Jersey sales manager. He might actually be the general sales manager at this point, but I know he's at least the New Jersey sales manager for Weyerbacher.
Are you listening?
Mike, if you're listening. If not, I will text him tomorrow. Bring it up to them. Barrel age the quad.
Please.
Every quad should be barrel aged, in my opinion.
Please bring Decadence
Bring Decadence back.
Barrel aged some bitch.
We're bringing, you know the song, we're bringing sexy back, we're bringing Decadence back.
Yeah. Barrel aged it, man.
Yeah, JT. But no. Decadence is one of the few beers that I put in the category of orgasmic.
There you go.
It was fantastic.
You don't want to sit down on the bench that Dave was sitting on after he has Decadence. You don't want to do that.
No. I clean up.
And definitely don't shake his hand.
No, you don't want to do that either.
Afterwards.
A couple of interesting things right here. Brian, we mentioned before, Dave, you said that Brian should stop commenting because we want stuff to talk about when he comes on the show.
Yes.
Brian said he has lots of info for 12 shows. So,
we'll see if we can cram it into maybe
knowing Brian, I believe him. He probably more like 18 shows, but that's besides the point.
More than likely, Brian can talk, and Brian has got, despite the fact that Boakes has now defunct,
right.
Which you said is negative. So let's
negative
say
connotations. Retired.
We'll go with retired. Brian is still very active in the brewing community.
And before you get into that, I just want to put this up really quick. He has one bottle of 2007 Monster Mash left.
So just leave that on the counter when we break into your house.
Yeah, no. We don't want it without him. We want that with him.
This is true.
We want that with him. So
drinking with Brian is a treat.
When we can all get together and do a show together, beyond pandemic, so forth and so on. Let's open that on the show together.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. So, anyway, go ahead, continue, Brian.
I have no idea what the hell I was talking about.
You said Brian is still involved in the beer community.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's got a lot of projects going on. He's very involved in the brewing community, and so when we have him on the show, we'll definitely
we'll delve into all of that he does. So.
And then we'll talk about that when he's on, in deference to him, and also because I can't remember a damn thing about it at this point.
And I'm going to go back up a couple of comments here. I'm going to go back to Brian actually.
Which Brian?
Brian Alt.
Okay.
He
Our
said,
producer.
Wait, this is from about 40 minutes ago. He said, about as drunk as I've seen Samurai on the show. However, not off the show.
So
I'm glad I can help. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, Samurai.
Tomler.
Tomler. And just to put him up there because he's our pseudo producer, these are Brian Alt's 3. Pete's Wicked Ale, Boakes Blunderbore.
Oh, Pete's Wicked Ale,
so
yeah.
He knows it. Damn.
He put Boakes Blunderbore up before Brian said Blunderbore was the name of Monster Mash.
Yes, he did.
Oh, damn.
And Dogfish had Squall.
Now, Squall, when we had one show, we talked about our favorite Dogfish Head beers.
Yes.
And Squall was one of mine.
Yes.
Squall it's a bottle conditioned 90-minute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Bottle conditioned. Wow.
Holy shit. Squall is a is everything that Dogfish Head has put out, and their catalog is massive. And they've put out some fantastic beers. There are some things that have fallen short. But Squall amongst their whole catalog might be my favorite beer they've ever put out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good beer. There's a lot of
fantastic.
A lot of beers, but we won't get into Dogfish Head now. But yeah, it's such a good beer. It's such a good beer.
Yeah.
Brian Boak actually did say we'll have a Brewers Roundtable. Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
So there's a Brewers Roundtable. So neither John or I are brewers. So we need to
I have brewed beer. So I mean not professionally. Well,
no,
actually I have brewed.
I.
Technically, I've brewed beer professionally, but not by myself with other people. But that's besides the point.
And you have milled grain.
I've milled grain. We spoke about that last week at Jason
with Jason,
Chris, yeah. But yeah, no, I've been involved in brews professionally, and I've brewed my own, obviously, home brews. But that's besides the point. But yeah, no, absolutely, we can have a Brewers Roundtable. You were right there, Dave.
No, this was the.
I don't think he is. No, I don't think he's all right at all.
This was the habanero hitting the back of my throat.
Oh, there you go. Now we're back to the
on that last quaff. Really,
there you go. Now we're back to the Tijuana hooker, but that's besides the point.
Oh,
That burned a little bit too, but that's another story.
Wait a second. You're saying the Tijuana hooker had a little extra?
She might very well have. She might very well have. All right. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. On that note, we'll end the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday at 5:30. Tuesday at 5:30. Tuesday, not Wednesday. Tuesday now. We moved to Tuesday at 5:30. For those of you that want to just listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
You're missing so much if you're just listening.
You want to watch on Tuesday nights, but
we're not advocating for Tijuana hookers. I'm
not in the least, not at all.
No, this is not.
It's just our shtick.
This was not an advertisement for Tijuana hookers. However, Amazon will probably.
I don't know. Anyway, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. There you go. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. We want to thank Tom for coming on the show today. This was an awesome show. And I will tell you, this is our longest show.
That one's on me again, guys.
By at least 20, 25 minutes. This is our longest show.
Maybe longer. But I fully expected
I'm a bad man.
There you go.
No, you are not. You are a wonderful human being. And
folks, if you were enjoying,
this was a lot of fun.
If you were enjoying this show today, don't worry, this man will be back. Don't worry. So, again, thanks for following along with us. Have a wonderful week. Have an even better weekend. And enjoy, folks. We will talk to you soon. Take care, guys. Cheers.
All right. Bye, folks.
They found him face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake rug. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he shit out of luck. This little penny went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy's eating corned beef in the back of a Ford Pinto.